Good evening. I need to carry these TEDx letter back to the storage room. Are there any strong men in the audience who can help me with that? Show me some hands. Thank you. To all the women in here, I know you probably didn't want to carry these letters, but hearing the word strong men, who of you thought, oh, am I not strong enough? And to all the men in here, who of you actually likes being the one who's expected to always do the heavy lifting? Today, I'm gonna talk about sexism. And I know some of you probably already get uncomfortable when hearing that word, and that is because we all have a very clear picture of what that term means. But for the next few minutes, I want you to forget all that. Because sexism doesn't only appear in extreme cases. It shows up in small, everyday actions, often in ways we don't recognize or even understand. But these tiny situations, the ones most people don't notice, can still have a huge impact on our lives. Let me give you an example from my own life. Now, I was a quiet but very ambitious girl in primary school, and because of that, teachers kept setting the naughty boy, let's call him Timmy, right next to me. Now, Timmy talked constantly, and he distracted me, and I was expected to shush him and to keep him in line. And in that moment, I wondered, why was I responsible for Timmy's behavior? Why did I have to take care of his actions? It suggested to me that I was like his caregiver, something women are often expected to be. And by that, did that mean that I wasn't allowed to be the fun one? Why was this my responsibility? Another time, we were playing football, and even though I had scored multiple goals, none of the boys would ever pass me a ball. When I pointed this out to my teacher, he said, "They're teenage boys, that's just how they are." Now, hearing this discouraged me. And it made me wonder why they were given permission simply because there were boys. But this goes both ways. Teachers treat boys more strictly than girls without realizing it. And the students notice. A friend of mine told me he stopped putting effort into schoolwork because the teacher didn't appreciate his participation. He didn't even seem to notice it. And a study conducted in Basel showed that on average, girls receive grades 14 percentage points higher than boys for the exact same performance. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever experienced a situation like this? Where something felt off, where something seemed unfair maybe, but you couldn't quite explain why? These situations, that feeling, that is everyday sexism. Not the headlines, not the dramatic moments, but the small, repeated actions that pile up over time. They shape how we see ourselves, and they set expectations about who we are and who we're supposed to be based on gender. And if we start living up to those expectations, they become a self-fulfilling prophecies. We start adjusting ourselves to standards we never consciously agreed to. And the problem is, these standards are deeply ingrained to us. So deeply that breaking the cycle feels hard. But here's the good news. Having these biases doesn't make us bad people. We're not criminals, and we don't have to be ashamed, but we do need to start taking responsibility because this shapes someone's entire personality. So, how can we go against this? Well, we can follow these 3 simple steps, or as I like to call them, the 3 A's. And that brings me to the first step, the first A, awareness. Now, think back to my opening line. When I heard the word strong boys from my teachers in primary school, it made me feel uncomfortable. And back then, I didn't really know why, but now I do, because this is sexism. It made me feel like I wasn't strong enough, like I shouldn't be doing something like this. And this also shapes who we are later, because it suggests to us that we, as women, shouldn't or can't be doing something like manual labor. And that is not okay. And once we recognize that, we start realizing something powerful. We don't have to obey these gender-specific expectations. The second step is action. Now, most people don't realize when they're contributing to everyday sexism. So if we go up to them and say, "Hey, that was sexist," they probably shut down. Instead, we need to explain to them how it makes us feel and why it matters. And that's exactly what I did with my teacher. I told him what his words did to me, and you know what he did? He changed his behavior. He told me he hadn't realized how his words affected me, and since then, he made sure that everyone was included in sports class. The last step is amplify. Our voices, our impact. This isn't a women's issue, and it's not a men's issue, it's a human issue. And once we start recognizing that, and once we stop fighting each other and start standing together, we can actually change something. We can reduce these invisible moments that quietly limit who we become. We just have to follow the 3 A's. Awareness, where we realize something's at fault, even if it's only for ourselves. Action, where we start spreading the information to other people, but carefully and by explaining how it makes us feel, and not by blaming each other. And lastly, amplify, uniting our voices into one. Because this way, we can break stereotypes, we can rewrite expectations, but only if we do it together. So, now I'll ask again, which strong boy or girl can help me carry these letters back?